Hello, everyone. Today we got another guest on our podcast, Mr. Arefin Kabir from Bangladesh. Arefin has been in Bangladesh Army with the rank of Major, and now he is in UK after the master degree program. Arefin is working with the NHS. So instead of giving Arafin's introduction, I think it will be really good to talk to Arefin and ask about their introduction themselves. So Arefin, firstly, thank you very much for joining us today. Very welcome on this podcast. I have been thinking about you since a long time when I started the podcast, and I was thinking that you could be a very good story for our viewers, and I'm sure you are going to give us a lot of tips and share your journey with our viewers today. So thank you very much for coming today, for joining us today. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you very much, sir. I would firstly convey my heartiest thanks and gratitude to you for inviting me here. I'm really honored.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. As you have already said, I was in the army, Bangladesh Army, and I retired voluntarily after 10 years of service. And me and my wife both were in army. She was also a major, and we had we had traveled around 30 to 35 countries together. And at some point of time, we decided why not to explore outside, go outside, and plan our future life ahead. So decided to explore opportunities outside where we can settle. Then, to be very honest, we decided to go to Canada first, and we applied for Canada's PR, and we were through to the Saskatchewan provincial nomination program. So applied, we got our points matched. We got the invitation to apply ITA, and then we applied also. The province gave us the nomination also. Then we had to wait around 1.5 years to 2 years. It was so frustrating that it was not happening because after the COVID-19, there was a huge buffering in the immigration system and other things, and then we had to wait and plan to go to Saskatchewan, and we had to stay first 3 years in Saskatchewan. So we had that plan that 1.5 years I will study, I will prepare myself, and in 1.5 years my wife will study. And then after 3 years, we might move to Toronto or British Columbia. That was our plan. But after retiring in Bangladesh, I had to stay 1.5 years or around 2 years. Then we thought that why not utilize this time rather than staying in the country? Why not to look for some opportunities to study abroad? As we have applied or in the nomination list in Canada, we didn't apply for a student visa in Canada, so we looked for the opportunities. We looked for the opportunities in several countries, and then I chose England, and I chose particularly Manchester. There are another reason because I love Manchester United. Then I looked for an opportunity to do a master's, and I found the universities in Manchester, and particularly the subject. I was an infantry officer. My wife was a ASC officer. Her subject was basically supply chain and procurement. And what I found that the opportunities in army, because I was an infantry officer, the things we learned, military tactics and other things, they don't really comply with the outside world. In business portfolio, we don't really do much because our background of studies and other things. But I found that their subject all about supply chain, because she worked in a base supply depot. She used to bring all the foods and other things for the troops, and their jobs were to supply these things, and procurement was also a part. So, and the subject I found in University of Salford, that procurement, logistics, and supply chain management, that really amazed me that it had all the parts. Procurement, logistics is a huge part. These are integrated, I understand, and supply chain management. So I was really interested. And then we came to England on August 2022 to attend the September session at University of Salford. In the meantime, in Bangladesh, I worked in ready-made garment sector because after retiring, why not to take some experiences outside? And I worked there as general manager. supply chain and delivery, because being an army officer, it was easy for me to get through that, and administrative jobs and security related issues all were integrated in that job. So around 2 years I served there and came to England.
So, what are you doing now in England?
When I was a student, I was working part-time in Amazon as fulfillment center associate. Amazon is a workers organization, and there I was particularly very much interested in their operation, how within just 10 hours or within one day they deliver products to the doorsteps of the customers. So I was very much interested to learn about the operations, and seeing my interest, my manager put me in the OB problem solve. So within just 1 month, being the fulfillment center associate, I was a problem solver there. So I was really liking it, and 1 year till my graduation completes, I worked there. And in each after 3 months, it was extending. So every time I got extended, I was really very happy. Because they ensured my 20 hours of working time there.
Yeah.
And after being graduated, I was looking for the full-time opportunities. And then we had that issue of being settled here, as you know, sir. So I kept that in mind. And at that time, when we graduated, the salary threshold of getting the skilled worker visa, it had a rumor to increase. And we thought that why not to explore some opportunities in NHS where the threshold is optimized. And I looked for the opportunities in NHS, and I got the interview call in NHS blood and transplant. It was my first interview, and I got through to the first step, and then competency-based interview I faced. And then around 1.5 months, I was through. And then procedure took more 15 to 20 days about my references and police clearance and other things. Then I got through this job. It is in city center in Plymouth Grove, in NHS blood and transplant location.
Okay.
I'm working there as technical officer, which is in manufacturing section. A bit of part is there in procurement, but to be procurement specialist and to be in band for, I need to have some biomedical or hematology on-job training.
Okay, that's good. So when you say the manufacturing department, what does that mean? Do they manufacture blood over there?
Yeah, definitely, sir. So the blood donor center in Manchester, and they're all over the England. But these centers, they basically produce blood. Blood means from blood to blood. From the blood donors, they give the blood. That is not very sufficient for all the patients all over UK or England. So we produce plasmas and platelets from that, and from there we produce more bloods and supply those to the required hospitals.
I would like you to share your experience as a military officer in your home country. You said you was in the service for 10 years and your job was managing inventory and supply chain and other stuff. So you got a lot of experience there in terms of supply chain and management. And that is why I believe you took a degree in supply chain procurement and logistics side. What was your experience about supply chain back home when you was working with the military, and what is your experience when you learned about supply chain here?
I worked in military when I was a quartermaster in any unit or in Defense Services Command and Staff College. Then the total inventory was under my control. So working with military is more of following the instructions, following the rules and regulations, passing the orders, ensuring it, doing it, because all things are, in the SOP. There were very less occasions when I had to really problem solve other than man managing, because how I make the things done, that was more important. But in the real business world, what I found that there is no bound of probabilities. There is no bound of happening things, or thinking about alternatives, thinking about contingency plans and other things. So this is really vast. And nowadays the world is not confined to any country. So it's a huge and vast arena. So I was thinking doing really masters was not somewhat really prudent. Rather than if I could do more, I could do a bachelor's on supply chain. I would feel myself more confident and more conversant on the things. But still, what I got that gave me at least some working knowledge to at least to stand for an interview or to talk something on these or realize that thing in my real life work.
After the retirement from the military, when you started thinking about let's move to or let's explore the opportunities to go abroad, and you decided finally that you are going to UK. After you made the decision, what was the process you taken, and how easy or how challenging was it?
To be very honest, sir, to get the admissions and other things, these are very straightforward in UK, I must say. And I'm because my brother-in-law studied in Canada. He's staying in Canada now.
Okay.
But his admission procedure, it was very lengthy. I'm not saying about other countries or something like that, but I'm just comparing a bit because I applied myself. I applied in the website. It was so organized. Almost all the universities, the pages are organized, how to apply, what exactly is the tuition fee, because it is a main concern for the students. In many universities, it is written per year or per subject. I'll have to calculate and I'll have to calculate the years and other things. And it is particularly mentioned in most of the UK universities, and things are so clear. The support team, if you just send a query, they are so responsive. I was really very amazed. And then I applied, I must say within 3 to 4 weekdays, they asked for my other documents and they gave me unconditional offer letter. Then after 10 days, I got the unconditional offer letter. And then I got the offer letter, and then I applied for the visa. The total procedure was from the starting of our planning to come to UK to land was 3 months.
3 months.
And
you
3 months.
And you applied yourself. You didn't use any consultant or any agent for that?
No, sir, because it was not required because I have seen my brother-in-law doing that. So I found that it is easy. In the website is everything. It's nothing rocket science to apply with an agency or something like that. Other than I want to get a scholarship or I want to get admission very quickly or something like that. I found that yes, I can apply. It is very easy. So I applied and it happened.
Yes, absolutely. Even I think the visa application is very straightforward as well.
Yes.
As long as you fulfill the requirement of visa, for example, the documentation and all, funds and everything, as long as you can fulfill, there is nothing stopping you to get the visa done. This visa application is straightforward. Whatever document they ask you, just provide the document. That's it. So yes, that is a good learning as well, that yes, you can apply for the visa, you can do the application yourself, but consultants are okay as well, because if you don't know how to do it, if you don't know how to do proper research, then you can go through consultants. That is another option, which is good.
Definitely, sir.
Now, you came to UK, you said in September 2022. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So when you came to UK, and I think you mentioned before that you have traveled so many countries.
Yes, sir.
And that was because of the job, military job?
Not particularly. For military countries I visited, me and my wife, we all just did those with our own money and with our own interests.
Traveling. Okay, for holidays and all.
Yeah.
And I believe you have a YouTube channel as well where you are putting your travel vlogs.
I just started it last month, sir. Just I'm trying to do some. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, that will be a good idea if you put that vlog link in the description of this video, and we will certainly do so. Let people watch from. It's in Bangla or.
It's in Bangla, but I have subtitles there, so people can understand that.
People can understand. Okay, so you must be having, because you have a lot of travel experience, so I'm sure that vlog is going to be real nice, and I'm certainly going to watch it. Even in Bangla, we can understand a few words, and as you said, subtitles are available. And
Yes, sir.
Nowadays subtitles are available in all the languages, all the native language. So
Yes, sir.
people just need to do a few clicks and it will change the subtitles there and then. Now, when you came to UK, you landed in Manchester or London or any other airport?
I landed in Manchester.
Manchester. So what was your first feeling, first expression when you are in Manchester?
When I was landing, I was thinking it was my dream. Why? I will say, we didn't have any plan to come to UK, but all my life I wanted to come to UK, England, or in Manchester particularly, because as I said, sir, I'm a diehard fan of Manchester United. Since 1998, I started supporting Manchester United, seeing Prince of Manchester, David Beckham. And so when I was landing, I was laughing that all those time I was thinking about going to Canada, or my brother-in-law is in Canada, so my wife was very much interested to go there, and I'm landing now in Manchester. What a fate! What a fortune I had! I was laughing myself, and I was
Yeah.
thinking,
There is a term called law of attraction. And
exactly, sir.
in law of attraction, it says that what you think, what you believe, you will get that. You will attract that to
Yes, sir.
yourself. And
Yes, sir.
when somebody has a dream that one day I want to go to Manchester, I want to watch it live in the stadium, Manchester United, I want to sit there and watch the game, the dream will definitely come true. It all depends on how strong your belief is on something.
Yes, sir.
So that is what law of attraction says, and which is true, in a way, which is true. Like our elders also say that dream big. If you don't dream, you won't get. So your first experience, your like sense of happiness, sense of relief that you are finally in the UK. And before that, you said you traveled like 30-35 countries.
Yes.
UK wasn't in those countries.
No, sir.
The first time in the UK.
First time. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
When you was actually on the soil of Manchester, outside the airport, what was that feeling?
The feeling was really, it was a very nice and cozy environment, what I must say, because I didn't expect. I traveled in Europe, 9 countries, but UK is somewhat in the west, and I really expect that UK will be much greener. It will be so much green, and the weather, it was soothing. I came in August, 19th of August, before my session. So the weather, it was so soothing, and everybody said it is called Rainchester because every time it rains. But I never found that the rain bothered me a bit, because if I put on a hoodie, the rain water doesn't really bother much. So the feeling was absolutely mind-blowing. I really was very happy and thankful to Almighty Allah.
Yeah, yes, you are absolutely right. It's some people call it Rainchester because it's always raining in Manchester. It's surrounded by the hills, and
Yes,
this
sir.
is a valley, and that is why in Manchester, if you know, we used to have cotton industry, cotton mills.
Yes.
And you can still find so many old buildings that used to be cotton mills. Why? Because the cotton used to come from Asian countries like India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh, and they used to store it in Manchester because cotton need moisture, and
Yes.
Manchester has a lot of moisture because of rain. Also, like you said, you came in August. In last 2 or 3 years, the weather is shifted.
Yeah.
Now the rain start in September and stays for a longer time. Like we have monsoon in our countries as well. We have a certain period, and now I think weather not just in the UK but all over the world is shifting. It's getting much colder and much hotter.
Yes, sir.
So same thing is happening in Manchester as well. But when it's rain, it can rain for 4 days, 5 days continuously.
Yes.
You might have seen even on the university websites, it says bring an umbrella with you. Yeah, in most
Yes,
of
sir.
the website, things to pack with you is an umbrella.
Yes, sir. Umbrella. Yep.
Yeah. So make sure the people who are coming to Manchester, is good idea to buy an umbrella from there, from your country, and keep it in your bag, in your backpack, like handbag. So yes. So your experience, you said it was a really cozy experience at that time, August. But normally people say it was freezing, it was cold. But as you mentioned that you have already traveled so many countries in
Yes.
Europe, so I believe you are used to. At least you had an idea about that type of weather. So once you was in Manchester, how you managed to get the accommodation? Did you get it before you came to Manchester or after you came to Manchester?
No, sir. As I said, the whole procedure from applying first day to land, it was 3 months. So I booked an Airbnb in Chitham Hill, and I was so, I should say, I was so mad that 19th August I landed, and 20th August was the Old Trafford Stadium and Museum visit, and 23rd August was first match, Man United versus Liverpool. I watched that live, and I
Wow.
bought the ticket from my country. And
You are a true fan. You are a
Yes,
true
sir.
fan. You had jet lag. You must be having
Yes.
jet lag.
Yes, sir.
And after that you went to your accommodation, and then you watched the match very next day, like within 2-3 days.
2 3 days. Yes,
It
sir.
is good. Yeah. Okay.
And first 3 or 4 days we just roamed around. We just roamed around all the places in Manchester city center vicinity, because we didn't have cars, so the public transport we used. And then we started thinking, yeah, now it is time that we'll have to think about our accommodation. Then I talked with one of my relatives who live in Scotland. He gave a relative's number. Then we talked with them, but it was not really very easy. The easy we thought, that it is not that very easy. It's very difficult procedure, because you will have to have some job, you will have to have your NI, you will have to have your references, then many things. For a student
to get an accommodation.
to get an accommodation, definitely.
First thing, it need to be available, which is normally not.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me stop you here
Yes,
and
sir.
rewind a little bit backward. When you rented a Airbnb,
Yes,
for
sir.
how many days and how much that costed you?
Firstly, I rented it for 7 days, and it costed me £60 per night. So
For both of
this
you. For both of you.
for both of us, yeah,
Okay.
£60. And the Airbnb was like a bit small hotel with a common kitchen and communal area.
Okay.
So an attached bath, but the kitchen and area, it was common, and merely I have seen any guests there. So we just went there, cooked our foods after 2 to 3 days, because first 3 to 4 days we ate outside. And £60, and I found it. Now when I plan to travel to anywhere in UK, I think that we were very lucky get a Airbnb with £60 per night.
Yeah, it's cheap over here. Yeah, it's very cheap,
Yes,
and
sir.
especially for the two people. And
Yes, sir.
you are getting the kitchen facilities, attached washroom and shower and all that. But at the same time, £30 per person is very cheap.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
wherever you go to UK, they normally charge you at least £50 to £60 per person
Yes.
in a good hotel or wherever you go. So yes, so that is how much it costed. And then you started looking for accommodation, and that you said that wasn't so easy. So tell us the story about it. How did you get it?
So we started looking for accommodation in the apps suggested by our relatives. When we started calling them, and then they told that they asked some automated questions, and when we filled up those, automatically we were declined. So after trying for 3 to 4 days, we extended our Airbnb staying for more 3 days. And then what we did, that we understood that it will not be that easy. So we are very lucky that the manager of Manchester Airport, Bangladesh Biman, somehow we met him, and he told that he has a ensuite room available in his house, because he doesn't need three. He has a 3-bedroom house in the city center in Oxford, near just in front of the Oxford station, in Oxford Road. Then he offered us to stay as long as we get an accommodation, and we were really very lucky. I didn't understand that thing will come so smooth, because I have heard stories from. I think your viewers will want to know the struggle of getting an accommodation. The story of people are very different from others, because to get an accommodation here, you need to have a lot of things. You need to have many things, and you need to struggle a lot before contacting from home country, getting ensuring an accommodation from there. Coming here, getting it will be a real hassle. I think.
So, do you recommend people that they should start looking for the accommodation from their home country before they actually come here?
Definitely, I recommend.
Okay.
I recommend it.
So you didn't try the university accommodation, or that wasn't your preference?
University accommodations are mostly for single students. We came as a family, and by the time I contacted them, by the time I contacted them, it was full. Because it was full because before 3 to 4 months we needed to contact. So
Yeah, because
that was
most of the intakes are almost full, and they become full at 6 to 7 months in advance. So if you are starting your process late, then it is highly likely that you won't get university accommodation. But there are a lot of private accommodations for students available. That could be slightly costly, but they do. You don't have to worry about any bills when you are paying rent for those,
including bills. Yes, sir.
That is all including bills like water, electricity, your internet, and everything, and they take care of all these things. And you got a reception there, and you got everything is there. So the whole
everything
is there. But if you are an individual as a student, it is always recommendable you look for the university accommodation and book it in advance, well in advance. So you was lucky because you knew somebody who had an apartment. How did you did you know that people like that person before you came to the country, or you met him here or through somebody?
I just met him here through somebody. And as you had been telling, sir, contacting people from country is a good idea, because we have a vast community here. We have a very vast community here in London, in Manchester. I really didn't believe that so many. Yes, I believe that there are many people, but I didn't believe so many people.
Yeah.
There are so many people here, and coming here, talking with people, I could manage one. So if one student, he actively look for accommodations. So within the community, as you said, sir, within the community, they can get, for initial, at least they will not have to pay Airbnb or hotel bills. They can stay there, and they can get their NI jobs and other things and references. Then they can go for any agencies or private accommodations, better accommodations, which is soothing to his finances.
Okay, so how did you came to know about this person?
Oh, about this person, from I told one of my uncle lives in Scotland. He told about his friend, and that friend's friend is this person.
Okay, so through networking again.
Through network.
One person, another person, and luckily you got an accommodation there. Okay,
yes,
good. But otherwise, getting accommodation, as you said, is very, very challenging, and it's not that easy.
Yes.
So what could be your tips? First, the tip was start looking for accommodation from your home country. If you are not getting accommodation in the university, is there any other tip you have? For example, you said earlier that you need a lot of things to get an accommodation. What are those things, so our viewers can prepare?
Okay, sir. From the country, I think he can prepare the network only. He can make the network. He can get all the apps. But to get an accommodation through an agency, that is a different chapter. But I would suggest to get an accommodation from the country is a bit tricky. I won't say it is impossible, but most of the landlords or agencies, they won't give you accommodations straight away from your home country. So my first tips would be get network with people. If they can manage an accommodation with friends and families and relatives, they can stay there. They can then they need to have some documents, like when we come as a student, we get the work permit of 20 hours. In according to that, we get an NI, national insurance number. So we can straight away when we come, we get a postcode of any accommodation. We can apply for that NI, and the NI is found in any in government website. It's very easy, just like plug and play or apply. If you just apply with your valid postcode, and you can get the letter in that postcode if you have that access, then you can get your NI. Then the agencies, they will definitely ask about what is your source of income, that you will be renting, how you are going to rent. They will ask for that assurance. So to get a job, it is tough just after landing here. So that is another struggle. So to have some of your bank balance might do in that case, and they can say that I will work part time, and I have my this funding. With this, I can manage. It will be tough, but at least they can get an accommodation. These things, and they will also ask for some references. Also, that do you, and then there's another step that okay. If you cannot pay, do you have a guarantor so that he can pay for you? Guarantor and reference, those are two different things. Guarantor will pay your rent, and reference is just, yes, I know this person. So with all these, we can really have to get into the battle of getting an accommodation.
So guarantor is normally when if you couldn't pay rent, in any case, then your guarantor is liable to pay the rent on your behalf.
Yes.
Now, some of the things you mentioned about NI number, for example, and getting an NI number is very easy from the government website, but until unless you collect your BRP from the university, that might take a few days, and then you get used to about university and other things, and then you apply for NI. It might come within 24 hours because it's online thing. It might take like a week or so, depends how busy they are. So it might take like maybe a month for the whole process to get used to collect all the information and everything. So that is for sure that within a month, it is highly unlikely, until unless you are really committed to get a part-time job, that I want to get a part-time job as quickly as possible, and you fulfill all these things in advance as soon as you arrive in UK. So still take it as 1 month at least to get on or to get a first job. I have met many people who got job within 15 days, within 20 days, 25 days. But this is what they done. They went, as soon as they landed, they collected their VRP within a day or two, and then after that they started applying for NI number and all that. So they got it within a few days time, and then they started working on they started looking for the jobs and all. Also for accommodation, you said they need a lot of documentation. So basically they want to check your affordability. Can you afford to pay the rent or not? Simple as that. And that is why they have a template of questions, and with those questions they can easily analyze,
understand,
and it is being done mostly, you can say, like by AI, which pick up yes or no, or no, and is done. So it's difficult to get an accommodation first. Second, when somebody have an accommodation available, it's difficult to get it because you don't have the right paperwork, or you can't show the affordability. So in terms of networking, you said that they should start networking from the home country. do you know any portals where they can start networking?
Yeah, networking, I must say the main apps or web pages there are some web pages like Zoopla, Rightmove, On the Market. Uh, these are the places they can get accommodations. But for networking, I was saying about some known people or relatives, because they might not they might not ask so many things, or they might not want to see so many things, so easily they can accommodate themselves at the first instance. And after that, and if they look for these 3 or 4 websites, they can have an idea of the accommodations in which budget I can get, which sort of rooms or accommodations. So they can have an idea
Okay.
with those.
So sometimes, because some of the people talked about that there are some groups on WhatsApp and there are some groups on Facebook and all, where people say that we got accommodation available and all that, but many
Yes,
of
sir.
them are scams as well.
Yes, sir.
uh,
Yeah, yeah. You got a very good point. Yes, there are many groups like University of Salford Students Group. That is mostly for academic purposes, or Bangladeshi community in Manchester, Bangladeshi community in London, or something like that. And there, many people give the advertise on. Yeah, we have 2 rooms available, 1 rooms available, and something like that. But when there is money is involved, that you have to give some advance to secure that appointment back from your back home, then there is a problem of getting scammed. So other than that person is very known, I don't think that is a very prudent idea of getting an accommodation with that thing. But you can always have an idea. You can always have an idea that yes, where we can get the accommodations, how we can get an accommodation, and if you can study that person, you can, if you can communicate with him, and if you have some common friends or mutual friends with him, then you can understand, yes, he is. But you can assure him, yes, after coming to the country, I'll give you an advance or something like that, or I need to see it first. So being a bit technical, you can definitely always
yeah.
ensure your accommodations.
Yeah. So yes, it is very important to know there's a lot of scams going on.
Yes.
People sometimes get access to those WhatsApp groups and Facebook groups. Even in Bangladeshi community or Indian community or any other community, it's very easy to get access to those. Now, when they put something and they ask you for the advance for the accommodation from back home, that should ring a bell.
Yes.
Should you do it or not? Always verify with other sources that it is a legitimate person. Is it a company or not? So make sure, if you have somebody in the UK, send them to visit the accommodation at
Yes.
least. Look at the accommodation from inside. What facilities are there or not? Because once you are there, once you are, even if that is the right person, but once you are in the accommodation, then only you come to know, oh, this is broken, that is damaged, and that could be a problem, and you might have to pay from your own pocket. So it is important to make sure everything before you actually pay the deposit. So that is accommodation chapter, which is very difficult, and Arefin is also suggesting that you should think about accommodation before you come here, because there has been many cases of fraud, and there has been many cases the people didn't get the accommodation, and they had to sleep on the road, and they had to sleep in the library. It is not allowed, but in the last podcast with Mahesh, we have Mahesh shared a story that somebody had to sleep in the library for one night, which is not nice.
Yeah.
And especially for ladies who are coming here. It is a safe country, but crime happen, you never know. So
Yes.
we have to be careful on that. Okay, so Arefin, that was your story about the accommodation. Now you started going to university, okay, in September 2022.
Yes.
What was your first experience in university? One thing. And second, did you know anybody in the university before you actually go to university?
Yeah. I didn't know a single person before going to the university. Because it happened so fast. I joined the university community, one WhatsApp group, as you said, on Facebook group. But I didn't find really a very prudent student or someone from my class. So when I really reached to the first, before that there were many things. Our welcoming sessions were there. Then a whole town briefing, everything was there. I found a lot of people there, a very what should I say, very curious eyes. All of them were very new. Some British students were there with us. They were very confident. They seemed to knew everything. But for us, the international students, we are very curious. The campus itself, it was very beautiful. Like some iconic buildings are there, and the Southwood Museum co-located to that, and our Maxwell Building, Peel Park campus. Very nice university, I must say, within the vicinity of Manchester city centre. Very good transportations there. And when I went to the university, talked with people, other people, and our first module started, and I found a fantastic professor with us, and the learning session, it started so smoothly, and we didn't really have to think, yeah, what we had to really do. That course curriculum was as such that in our blackboard it was there, so we could prepare ourselves. And I learned this from my army courses, that we always used to prepare ourselves before any course so we can do good. So I used to look at the blackboards, what are there. I used to study a little bit to participate in the classes. And there are so many students in the class, and I had one. First day I sat with my British friend, Joshua Jackson, and he used to work in Amazon also. He particularly inspired me to join Amazon later. That's later part. But he was just beside me, so we talked with each other. But it was at the last bench, and I was always the last bencher. I used to sit at the last to see the whole class. It was some sort of my habit from earlier. But Joshua went front because he couldn't really sit at the back. He was very attentive. He sat in the front, and then I had some other friends. I must say about my friends, because I really miss them now, because most of them have gone in many places. One of them has gone back to India also. I miss Praful, Junaid, then Sundas, Atif. Those were my initial friends from India, Pakistan, and from Nigeria also. One friend was there, and we really started integrating ourselves in the class and class things. It was not something very bookish. It was some real life experiences, and I started learning about the brands of which we were the exporters. Like I worked in the garment sector, and the buyers were Zara, H&M, Primark, also Pretty Little Things. These were our buyers, and I started learning about them also. So it was very interesting to me. And I must say, the first module, it was very, very soothing for us to be integrated in the whole procedure. Then our journey started.
So, how long does it take to make friends in the classroom, in the like very first module? Does it take a long time, or is it was it very easy to make friends, or is there challenges, or any what do you think about it?
If you are not a very, very introvert person, you can make friends here in a jiffy, because people are very welcoming, and also people are looking for friends, because it's a mutual interest. That they are also new. They want to know things I know. They want to tell things I don't know. So it was very easy, and I found that the whole environment was really good. And I must say, my peers who were in my class, I must say, I have studied in other places also. I did my MBA in my country, here also. I really found them very, very quiet. I found them very, very attentive, very, very interested to learn what are the things are taught. Also, at the same time, parallelly, they are having the struggle of life, being settling here, getting a first job, everything. So making friends here is not that tough. It's very easy, I must
Yeah.
say.
So I think what you are trying to say is that everybody is new, everybody is fresh, and they are looking for the people around them. So if you are
Mhm.
looking, then the opponent is also looking for people
Yes.
to share their views, share their stories, listen to other people, because you are totally fresh, like you just born,
Yes.
and you want to learn more about other people, you want to learn more about what is going on, or maybe I'm missing something and I get some idea from the other person. So there is a lot to talk about in that
Yes.
sense, and also a lot to talk about the what is being taught in the classroom. So I think you can share your stories with
Yes,
other
sir.
people from other culture, and so a lot of conversation can happen. And I
Yes.
think, which is good, to learn things we need to talk to other people, and that could be a really good conversation starter, like saying hello, and that's what is going on. Do you know about this thing, or do you know about that thing? Even just asking, do you know where the library is? Do you know what where can I find the books? So that is a conversation starter, which is quite good. And as you said, you make very good friends and you miss them now. And you mentioned that some of your friends gone back to India and their countries. What could be the reason behind? Is it the job market, or is it they just came to get their studies, the degree program, and then they pre-decided to go back, or was it the issues, the problem about the job market?
Uh, his particular case was not about the job market. He was doing well, but sometimes we have an idea. Yeah, if we come to do any masters here with the flow, if you can go, you can pass, and 1 year will go, and you will get an result. You get a certificate. It's not like that. Thing is that my friend is very unfortunate about him that he couldn't pass the final exam, and then his case was removed and he had to go back. So it's very unfortunate. So it's not that easy also to pass all the tests of the all the modules of everything. So he had to go back for this, that he couldn't complete. Not all the students can complete. It's not that tough or that easy if you just remain attentive, to listen to the professors. It's enough to do good in the exams. But unfortunately, he might have done some mistakes, or he was maybe he was pondering too much on settling here, paying his bills, or other things. Maybe
Yeah.
that might be the cause.
So if somebody didn't pass the modules, and I believe you mentioned exams, which you means assignments.
Assignments.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if somebody didn't pass those assignment, it is possible that visa will be revoked and they have to go back
Yes.
to the country. But it is not. You are mentioning that it is not that difficult as well. If you listen to the professors, if you follow the guideline, that could be. I mean, you can easily pass any of the module. Okay, so that is, I think that is a very good tip for our viewers, the people who want to come down to UK with a student visa and they want to study here. Now, so eh, we talked about the studies, about like making friends and all that. Any other tips you want to give related to the studies, how to be successful in studies over here? I know you have been an excellent student, and you have passed many modules with a distinction. So what is your experience, what tips you want to give to other students who are just coming now, in terms of being successful in their studies and achieve distinction as well?
Thank you, sir. I think the course module, which are the things given in the blackboard of our university or any university, and the vast things in the library, e-library, or our library, it was really very enriched library there. We need not to think so much. Yeah, we need not to ponder so much, spend so much of our time there, but a prior preparation in the class, what it is taught, because when I listen a thing new, rather than if I have a little bit of idea, I believe the professor is going to cover the rest. So if I don't have any idea, so if it is the first thing, then it takes the time to really comprehend. So when I know a little bit on the subject and the professor is delivering, then it really integrates together. It really harmonizes together. And then there are some guidelines. In our first module, there was a student supporting class, how to write an assignments, how to write a research paper or paper-based, the assignments. It was a wholesome module, I must say. There were everything we need to write an assignment. It was not very tough. And side by side, the knowledge sharing sessions also within the students, because there are many things, okay, the professor has said, I might have missed. So if we talk with our peers, if we converse and if we generate some ideas, it happened with many of our friends. And I was particularly really very much grateful to that friend, I must say, Joshua Jackson. He was very, he used to share many experiences of UK. So I learned about UK culture, because the businesses in our country, businesses here, there are differences. Things we like in our countries, things happening here, things people pick within a second, and things we pick in our country, there are differences. So he shared so many things. According to that, our professor also narrated other things, and we also took part. And in that learning session, the 3 hours a class in a day, in one session, it was more than enough to have at least 50 to 60% idea. And in the exam, that is just about narrating things in an assignment form. That's it.
So you mentioned your British friend a couple of times now, and you said you learned a lot from that person, and also you said that you got a job through that person. I mean, while networking, that he suggested you get a job in Amazon as well. How easy was to approach a British person while you just arrived in the UK? You are totally fresh about the UK. You don't know much things. You don't know much things about the university and the UK as well. So how easy was to approach that person, and how was their how was their behavior? Would you like to tell us something about it?
Yeah, definitely, sir. British people are gentlemen people, I must say. Amongst all other people in the world I have seen, I have traveled, I've seen them really, really very gentle, very modest. And my friend, he approached me in a way. He was asking me what is the website name, like salford.edu.co.uk. He just forgot. That's how our conversation started. He told .co.uk or .uk.co or something like that. So I told that this is the one, because he already saw in the blackboard I have already entered, and I am seeing the things which will be taught by the professor. So he saw me and he was logging in, and he asked me the thing. Then he himself told, I'm Josh. Then I told him, Arefin. And the first thing happened that he put on a Manchester United t-shirt, a red t-shirt. And I thought, yeah, he's my friend. He's a Man United supporter. So, and approaching him about anything, because he was really welcoming, I must say, because in our classes who all were there, must say he was a pure gentleman. And anything I didn't know, like other things also, how to get a parking here in the campus. Also, how do I do this or how do I do other things. He was just so welcoming. He told me everything and other things, and we had a WhatsApp connectivity. So he was in the first bench and I was in the last bench. Still, I had those conversations there. He was telling one thing, then I told that, is it not this thing, or you told this thing? Is it really like that, or something like that? I need to elaborate. So within the class, he told that, yeah, okay, 2 or 3 lines. Then he told that, yeah, after class, I'll tell you a bit more. So he told me so many things about Amazon operations procedure, also other things. And he told that applying there is not that tough. You just go to the website and things. And then I applied and I got the job.
And when was that you got the job with Amazon?
I got the job in late September and I joined on 2nd of October in Amazon.
Wow. So as soon as you started the course, you met Josh,
Yeah.
and within
Yes.
that time, Josh suggested that, okay, you can apply to
Yeah.
Amazon. I'm working with Amazon,
Yeah.
and he told you how the Amazon operation works, and
Yes.
you gone through with the application and interview, and then you got the job, and you started in
Yes, sir.
2nd of October.
Yes, sir. 2nd of October, because it was the September session. What is called before Christmas? There were huge recruitment going on in Amazon. It happens there because in Christmas gifts are sent. So there are huge recruitments, and he told right now you apply. So I just applied, and it happened.
And Arefin, you are very lucky, like you said earlier,
Yes, sir.
that you've been your contract has been extended again and again and again.
Yes, sir.
But
Yeah.
normally after the Christmas,
Yes, sir. True.
before Christmas hiring happen, after Christmas firing happen.
Yes, sir.
And you've been lucky that only a few people can stay with Amazon
Yes,
during
sir.
that period, where the people, they think that they are hardworking, they are
Yes,
good,
sir.
and whatever they're doing, so they only keep those people. And the Amazon job is very rewarding as well. I have
Yes, sir.
other people. I'm going to invite one of them who is a supervisor in Amazon, and he started like you. And Amazon provide a lot of training. They
Yes,
for
sir.
the courses, even training for lorry drivers and all that, which cost 8 to 10,000 pound in UK. But they provide all these courses to the people who are permanent and who are working there. So okay, so you already told us. Now, as I mentioned earlier, if you need to start a conversation, you can just ask where the library is, and that's what Josh
Yeah.
asked you. How do you
Yeah.
log into the website? Okay,
Yes,
what is
sir.
the website name? And now you become friends. That was good networking. You become friends, and now you came to know about the job as well. So
Yes,
that was your first job. Let's talk about your job experience with Amazon overall, because we are coming to the end of this podcast. So let's talk
Yes,
about
sir.
jobs. How easy is to get jobs in the UK? And I know your experience was so easy that you got it that time. It was recruiting as well. But overall, how easy it is, and how easy it is to get a job in a company like NHS. Please tell us about that.
Okay, sir. So getting a job in the UK is not easy, but it's not a rocket science, I must say, because you need to have some preparations. There are some tips I really want to share your viewers. In Amazon, when I started entering or I started applying, it was a season of recruitment. I understand that. But the procedure, it was not that easy. I had to go through a lot of questions, analytical tests. Then they took us, and after the Christmas season finishes, they start cutting people, omitting people. So the thing is that when I entered, I found that there were many seasonal people came to just work for the Christmas season, because if you join in Amazon in Christmas season, you will get £500 bonus. So they just joined for that, and they just what I understood with respect to them, they just wanted to stay for that 3 months and then they had a plan to go elsewhere. But what I thought that, yeah, I need to complete at least 1 year here, if not 9 months at least, or as more as I can, because I need to do, because they are giving complete 20 hours, 2 days, 20 hours. So it is fulfilling my part-time job. So what I did, then I started to learn things. I started to ask more questions rather than my scheduled jobs. Then my supervisor found, yeah, this guy is interested. This guy is interested to know things, to do things. Then he started to give me some more jobs other than my scheduled jobs. Then he found that, yes, I am interested to do that, and I'm at least a bit of competent of doing that. And that was mainly sorting out the priority items, because there are many priority items Amazon give that has to go within 7 hours, 8 hours. I'll have to just scan that. I'll have to see in the monitor that which one is the priority items, then go to that place and sort it out and give it to the packaging section and other things. So it was not that tough. So it needed just my interest and my zeal and enthusiasm. Then he put me, after a few days, 1.5 months, he put me in the problem solving session. So all my friends who were, all my colleagues who went after that season were normal. They were doing their jobs. And those who we were picked to do some other jobs other than my job, we were kept. I found that. So then I stayed 3 months, and then total 1 year I stayed there. Then my real journey of job searching began. I must say a few things on this, because many people struggle in that. But all of people's story is not same, or I should not say I'm very successful. I'm in the process of getting at least a job which will give me the strength or give me the pass of staying here more, because that is my first priority. So I was looking for jobs in procurement or supply chain sectors, but in September or late or early October, there was a parliament session. They had been talking about increasing the threshold of skilled worker visa. So then I thought that, yeah, if I want to go for that, the threshold won't match. There are many things about UK, USA, New Zealand, Australia. People might say, you might have another podcast about this, and people might say that the salary threshold in UK is a bit lower than other countries like USA and other things. But if we see many other facilities here, like healthcare benefits and other things, where in USA you'll have to pay it, and you don't have to pay many things. School fees. Yeah. And other things, then the salary threshold really aligns with the justification. Because in our country, we were military officers, but our salary thresholds were not with some of the managers, even with multinational or any garment sector. But the facilities we had, our accommodation, our schooling system of our children, our food and other things, ration and other things, they would easily comply. So that's the thing UK has. And UK has a vast community of many other things that will generate another story. Many other things. Let's stick to the job searching things. Then I decided, okay, the threshold is going higher. So one thing people don't know, or they know, but they don't. I think that they have explored less the NHS sector. They have explored the healthcare sector, which they think that caring is very easy job, which is not. That's why it has been exploited too much. People have thought it's an easy job, caring somebody, but caring somebody with very less knowledge of English and your empathetic attitude, behavior. If that care receiver doesn't sync with you, then and then you lose the job. So this has been exploited. So rather than to that health care sector, the healthcare sector, NHS, there are many opportunities which have that salary threshold within that limit that you can get the sponsorship. So I started applying in those jobs, and there is a tips I must share. Very important tips, 2 important tips. I think, sir, you are an honorable person. You are in a very respectable position, but there are students like me, maybe, or other things. They have to know these things. I think one thing is the CV. I had around 20 to 25 sets of CV pattern
Wow.
aligned with the job descriptions. So you told about the AI sorting. HR they are not sorting manually. The AI is detecting. So the job descriptions given in the job advertise, if my words are there, they're going to pick me. So my CV should comply with the should align with the job description. Okay, I might not have done so many things, but I have done something. In our country, there is a common short story that one guy was asked to write an essay to on a crocodile. He said that yeah, crocodile has four legs, big body, long mouth, and a long tail. It has got rugs. That means what is it? Pattern. And okay, next day you write an essay on uh, a river. He told there is a river. River has long waves. In that wave, there is a crocodile. The crocodile has four legs, one big tail. That it has patterns.
Okay.
So like that, everything we can bring out in that pattern.
It's
That
connected.
any
It's
job.
connected together. Okay, we can connect
Connected.
one thing with another thing. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So suppose somebody has worked in some customer service job, maybe, but in that customer service, he had to do some administrative jobs, like in computer, he had to type, he had to do so many things and other things. That portion he can include in his CV. And in our university, I must say there were very vast, enriching sessions on writing a CV. Not only writing a CV, how to attend the interviews and other things. There is employability section in our university. I must say they are very knowledgeable person to share those ideas to us. I attended those also. And then the CV preparation. Then the best tip, I must say, which worked for me, I must say, I started looking for jobs in Indeed, and I had a LinkedIn profile, but mostly I got the jobs in Indeed. And then in Indeed, I used to filter the jobs which had been advertised within last 24 hours, not even 2 days or 3 days. Last 24 hours, early in the morning, I said my Fajr prayer, I woke up, and then I started applying. The jobs just had been advertised last day. So I applied them, and in the first early morning, HR went to the office at 9 a.m. He got my CV. I guess so. He got my CV on the and I got a call. So I got so many calls. I must say, saying this, people are saying that yeah, I have written a nice CV with many things, but I'm not getting the call. So this is a very good tip anyone can follow. If it doesn't work, I must say we have to try more.
Every early bird get the, what do you call it? I
Yes,
don't know the whole thing. The early bird get the chances, more chances.
Yes, sir.
So
More
that was,
chances.
many of the jobs they get closed very quickly as well, because they have a lot
Yes,
of
sir.
CVs, and
Yes, sir.
they close it there and then.
Close it.
Or if they think that we got enough good CVs within 3 days, why to keep
Exactly.
that job open for much longer? So
Yes, sir.
they close it there and then. So it's a very good idea, a very good tip, Arefin. I really like that. These are some of the strategies you guys are coming up with, and that is why I started this channel, so to learn from your strategies and spread it around so other people can use it and they can be successful as well, which is I believe very good thing. For that, you talked about CV, you talked about how to apply and when to apply as well, um, and a lot of guidance is available from the universities,
University.
from
Yes.
all the universities now. But still, we are coming up with a couple of videos. First one, how to create a CV. Like you said, you have more than 20 different sets of
Yes, sir.
CVs,
Yes, sir.
which is important. I normally recommend at least 2 to 3 different type of, at least, and but having 20 different type of CV, I think you might be. We can have another podcast with you, how to write your CV, how to work on the keywords and all that. and that is the new series I'm coming up with. I will bring the recruiters as well, what they
Okay.
look into the CV, and what is their criteria of shortlisting and calling people for the interview, and what type of interview questions could be for part-time jobs and for the full-time jobs after completing the degree program. So maybe I can do another podcast on that, but I'm sure there are a lot of things you can share with us, your
Yes, sir.
experience. And yes, you talked about the research, that you need to do research about the companies who can offer you sponsorship in a longer term.
Yes, sir.
And I believe NHS is one of the easiest organization. If they need you, they will definitely offer you a sponsorship. I got one of my relative. She worked with NHS in admin department, and she just sent an email that I need sponsorship now. The first thing they said, you still got 1 year visa, and
Yes.
then she said, but I want to apply now. And very like after 2 3 days, she got a letter from NHS that this is your visa sponsorship letter, and just apply. So they were really easy. You don't need to go through with the management and HR department and all that. Just send an email, and they know the bracket salary is matching, everything is good, just take it. So they
Yes.
are one of the easiest one, because they always need staff. NHS is full of people like us, from all the countries, from Bangladesh, from Nigeria, from other Asian countries. So yes, I think, um, in the end, is there any other tips would you like to share with our viewers? Anything else you can think of that this is important you should share with them? I know we're gonna do at least one or two more podcasts in the future, but for today, if you want to share any other things, any last things that okay, you should know about it.
Just last one, that I have said that 20 to 25 CVs, but the viewers don't get the wrong idea. The 20 to 25 CVs, those are not fake CVs. I must say, because after you are before you are onboarded, they will check your references.
Yeah.
They will check the references. So whether you have worked there or not, and the references will not come through you, they will send directly to the employer, your previous employer. So you cannot say a fake thing there. I must say that wording. I was saying about the wording, that according to the job description, and as I said, the crocodile pattern. So we can bring anything into that pattern and then get called for the interview. And the rest of the interview, there is also a vast, as you said, there might be another podcast, because the interview procedure, the competency based interviews, what they ask and how to pass the interviews, that is another battle that needs a separate preparation, because we are not English speaking people. We just came here, and with their culture, with their accent and other things, to pass with other competitors from the UK, it's really tough, and that needs really good preparations.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, you are very right. The audience might get a different idea about 25 different CVs. That one CV is in customer care, one CV is
Yeah.
in supply chain, one CV in biomedical, and one CV. No, not like that. So it means one CV and got 25 different versions of it.
Well,
So
exactly, sir.
one is maybe difficulty level 1, and
Yes.
one is difficulty level 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5. So one job is asking for, let's suppose one job is asking for customer care service. So
Yes, sir.
he worked in military in Bangladesh as a major. So what customer care service he delivered over there?
Exactly.
If the job is asking for communication, so what he did in terms of communication there.
Communication. Exactly.
So that is what it means, that you can connect things together, and that is the beauty. We need to learn how to create your CV, and I mentioned that several times now, and the other guests came on this podcast, they have mentioned as well, that you need to pick the keywords, fit those keywords into your CV, and make sure when AI is checking that CV, AI pick up those keywords.
Yes.
Now, we are going to have another session on creating a LinkedIn profile.
Okay, sir.
because many people, I would say about 95 to 99% people are creating their LinkedIn profile in a wrong way. So we are
Yes.
going to have a session on how to create a LinkedIn profile that link or that aligns with your CV. And
Yes.
because most of the recruiter nowadays, before they actually call you for interview, they go to LinkedIn and they search for you.
Yes.
And all the recruiters all the recruiters are on LinkedIn, all the employees are on LinkedIn, and all the job seekers are on LinkedIn as well. So LinkedIn has become a professional place, we can say marketplace as well nowadays, a professional place, a website where you can go and find the recruiters. Same thing, recruiters can find you as well before you actually apply. So there is a lot going on on the LinkedIn, and we will have a session how to create your profile on LinkedIn that can help you to get a job very quickly. So
Yes.
Arefin, I would like to say thank you very much for
Yes.
joining us today. Your talk has been really insightful, and I believe it will be really insightful for our viewers as well. Some of the strategies you given us, that was wonderful, like apply within 24 hours of job opening. Same thing that you can our viewers can use when they see a new accommodation is available in last 24 hours. Quicker they apply, much better the chances will be that they can rent it out very quickly. So that you can use those strategy in many other ways as well. So thank you very much for being here. And I'm sure your experience and your tips will be really useful for our viewers. And definitely we will invite you again, maybe next time, for a face-to-face podcast. And we will talk about other things like building CV and all that, and how to get a good job in UK. So thank you very much, and all the
Thank you, sir.
best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bye.